Hey guys, welcome back to the Edit Place. Michael here, and today I'm actually answering a question from a comment that I got, so it's going to be a pretty quick one, but we're just talking about folder workflow. On this channel, I've already created how to, set up a proper workflow in Final Cut. We've talked a lot about DaVinci Resolve and how to set up projects there, but what no one really talks about or makes videos on pretty often is the actual file structure when they're taking footage from, say, your SD card or whatever you're recording on your camera, importing it into your computer. What sort of folders do you make? How do you keep everything organized? Do you delete everything? And so this video, I really just want to start kind of a conversation, show you really quickly what I do. And I'm always kind of changing it every couple months, but hopefully you can get something out of it for your workflow, or if you think you have a more efficient, better recommendation for me, definitely leave me a comment down below because I'd love to hear it. Alrighty, so I'm gonna take my T5 card here, plug it in. Actually had a shoot yesterday for a client, so I have to import all of that footage into here. Now technically for this client, I record on 2 cameras, so I'll show you the folder setup, but I'm recording to my other T5 right now, which has that footage on it. So I'm only gonna import footage from this memory card, but I'll set it up for both. So once I plug things in, I'm kind of, you get into a process of things. You can see that I have a totally clean desktop. I have kind of a folder with no name on it up here at the top, which just has some generic files that I'm always accessing. But besides that, I don't really keep anything on my desktop. It's always clean. And so now that I got it plugged in here, I basically create 2 Finder windows. On the left, I put whatever my source footage is. If you can see, it's basically inspired by a video editor. I have my source footage over here, and I have basically what I'm creating or what I'm working on, almost like my timeline footage on the right. And so on my right here, basically I have my server, and this is set up with a bunch of different folders, both personal and work related. And the 2 folders that I access constantly, I've actually changed the icons to. We have YouTube and client work. So I actually went in and found different folder icons and changed those. If you want to know how to do that, let me know down in the comments. I can make a super fast video on it, or you can search it yourself. It literally takes like 30 seconds. So yeah, so I changed the folder icons. That way they just stand out and they're easier to see. And so for example, YouTube, if I'm doing something like the edit place, I have a folder for the edit place right here. And then my new workflow that I've started this year essentially is breaking down by month and then week. I know a lot of people folder things with dates, and to be honest, when things have too long string of numbers, they just they hurt my brain to stare at for a long time, and it just causes more confusion and trying to find the files. It doesn't work for me. So I like really simple folder layouts, but a lot of people may not like this because you have to go through a lot of folders to get what you want. So go into February, for example, and then again, I have each week down here. The reason I also do this is because I'm producing so much content. I mean, I've been doing 5 videos a week for the edit place, 5 videos for my other channel apps every day, and then at least 1 a week for my main channel. I have a couple clients that I'm always producing content for. One of them is at least once or twice a week, with producing multiple videos per week for them. And so for me, it makes sense to kind of just set this up on a monthly basis and then broken down to a weekly. So here I can go in, I can see all the videos that I've done this week and I'm continuing to do. Week 3, you guys have seen all this before. So footage that's over here, which these were just the raw clips. This is for a fashion brand, and basically it's just 30 or 40 minutes, single shot. The car that's in there has all the B-roll and motion and everything. Yeah, so for this client footage, we're going to go into client work. And then since I majority do commercial stuff, I've just created 2 folders, commercial and other. In here is old stuff when I did engagement and events and family and weddings and senior pictures. It's 2016 and back. So I primarily go to this commercial. Again, I create a new folder per year. So of course we're in 2020. And then here's where I put my clients. So I go in and every year I'll create a series of folders per client. And so for this one, Pro Fashion's the brand that we're working with. And again, since I do graphics work in Final Cut, I just put a Final Cut library in here. I have a outside assets folder which just carries logos as the intro that we use. In this way, since I'm constantly grabbing from here for each different project I'm doing, it just makes it a lot easier to have in here rather than copying into each folder. Now, if I go into February, you can see kind of the layout that I'm working with here. I have a deliveries, I have a different folder for each week. And for this client, it's a little bit different just because the workflow we've been doing is I edit everything in DaVinci Resolve, but then I really like Motion VFX plugins that I use for graphics and titles and captions and stuff in Final Cut. So I basically export like a ProRes file, import it into Final Cut. So I'll export from DaVinci into the working. So if I go into here, I can see that I have a finished video here, but it doesn't have any graphics. So now I'll take this video, go into Final Cut, add the graphics. Yeah, so once I finish it in Final Cut, so I put things into the delivery folder here. And so now these all have graphics on them and whatever else I need to put on there for the videos. Currently we're in week 4 here, the last week, February. And so now I'll go in here, and this is where I'll actually put a date to something. So we shot yesterday, which was the 27th, 02/27. And then I basically just like put a summary, like a 2 to 3 word summary of what it was. So usually I do it by model with this brand, since we have a couple different models that we shoot with. Ruby 10 quick hairstyles. That's basically the video that we created. Now we have the day essentially folder created. And so now I'm going to create a Pocket 6K, Pocket 4K, and then depending on if I'm recording audio straight into the camera like I am now, or sometimes for projects, especially like short films and stuff, I create a Rode folder for external audio recording. And then the only other folder that differs is again at kind of the parent folder of ProFashion. I have the assets folder, but for example, like YouTube videos, when each video has different assets, like if I'm downloading something like another video offline or a company's logo, then inside the project folder, I also create an assets folder. So this is Pocket 6K footage, boom. And then I simply drag those over. And so yesterday we shot about 100 gigs. And while this is transferring, people always ask me, do I delete footage or anything? And I personally do not. It always scares me. Sometimes people ask for older stuff. And yes, of course, you can write in contracts that, you know, after 60 days, you delete project files, or the only thing I go in and delete is like the A roll of YouTube videos. Cause that stuff, I mean, that just takes up so much space. I mean, this could be, you know, 50 to 100 gigs just for 20 or 30 minutes of record time on this. And so those I'll delete, but client stuff or finished videos or anything that I just feel is like either special, high quality, that I just want to have access to the raw footage for like film reels, anything like that, I never delete. And so hence the 30 terabytes or so sitting on the desk. So yeah, guys, that's basically a quick look into how I set up folders and organize all my footage when I'm actually importing it right before I go into the project management. So hopefully I was able to answer your guys' questions. And if you have any more, definitely leave them down in the comments below. And again, I'd love to hear what your guys' workflow and file structure is. Again, I know we're pretty deep here, pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 9 folders in essentially just to get to the footage, which I know is a lot, but for me, it's just simple and organized. So yeah, thanks so much for visiting the edit place, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.